All right, welcome, and we're going to do a quick overview of the activities for week 6. So this is all working with quantitative data, and so we're going to look at chapters 17, 18, and 24. Yes, they're out of order. So 17 is when we're looking at the one sample t-test and t-confidence interval. So the first one, there is an accompanying Excel file, and then they give you this data set, but actually, so number one, you don't really need the data set, but so this is more of a conceptual type exercise where you have to think about, okay, 5th, 10th, 25th, and 50th percentiles. Okay, so what does that mean about the data that I might see? And then this is actually investigating the conditions around the t-test, right? And then saying, okay, well, which one is maybe a bit more concerning in part C, right? And so we have to think about that in the conditions. Now, number 2 and on is really where the data set comes into play, so make sure to click on that in either Canvas or this PDF or Word file. So you get, the Excel file, and then it asks, about the conditions, right? We always have to check the conditions. Part B, construct a 99% confidence interval. So we might have to look back at our notes for that process. Null and alternative, right? And for the alternative, right, we're looking at, what is the claim? Yeah, so using that claim to generate the hypotheses, right? P-value of the test, Excel command, right? So just showing all your work. In number 3, this is where we do a paired one sample t-test, right? Or sorry, not paired. And so it actually tells you how to calculate it, but then you're going to do so it looks like a 2 sample t-test, but you're using a 1 sample procedure instead. So kind of walk through that, and here, perform a test of significance. So I always get questions, do I need to do a 4-step method? Not necessarily. Big thing is that if you are asked to perform a test of significance, have all the necessary pieces. But if you don't want to write it out like the full paragraphs, that's fine. But some students just like doing the paragraphs. Confidence interval, okay, for women and also for men. So we're doing kind of 2 at once. And so then here for the intervals, and then for part B, you're just doing 1 4-step method where we're kind of doing 2 sets of hypotheses at once. And this one, pay attention to this one. This is also in your homework in Achieve. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right. And let's see. Number 5, again, this is doing a 4-step method. And number 6 is optional. This is more of a conceptual thing about the t-test in general. Okay. And then just a reminder that if you are trying to find the data set, right, there's different sheets in the Excel file that's linked for the different exercises. Okay. Next up is chapter 18. This one, the notes and everything mention methods on how to do the 2 sample t-test by use of Excel only, right? This one, you can't do it because you're given summary statistics, right? So what you need to do instead is do all of this by hand. And I do want you to do it once, and this is literally the only time you have to do it. So hang in there, persevere, and be careful with parentheses. And in fact, I would recommend doing like test stat, right? I would say, okay, actually before that, you might want to do like numerator calculation, denominator calculation, and then for the test statistic, do like numerator divided by denominator. All right. Degrees of freedom is very similar. Again, that has a numerator denominator. Follow the formulas carefully and you'll get it. Degrees of freedom is about 56 or so. And I think the test statistic off the top of my head, I remember it being like 3.6 something. Again, there's more specificity needed there, but I'm just telling you so you know you're in the right ballpark. Okay. And so then you do your conclusion and you move on to, either ear infection and hearing or autism, right? So you do one of these 2, and so you get to pick. They're both similar in difficulty, so doing a 4-step method on each. And And then the last one, GPA and sex, this is, or CPS and race, or CPS race and hours. You get to pick which one you want to do, and then, do the test, right? It doesn't mean a 4-step method. Okay, so this one you might have to introduce filters. So just to do filters, highlight the column headers, and then in the Home tab, go to Sort and Filter, and then there you go. You can filter it then by, show all the ones or sorted smallest to largest, etc. Okay, so I'm not going to save that. And our last set of activities is for Chapter 24 on ANOVA. Okay, and this one you're going to be like, these are the same questions over and over and over, and that's intentional because we want to think about, okay, variables, why do we want to do the test and the hypotheses, verify conditions, let's see, so let's get the right test statistic, degrees of freedom, etc., conclude, and then with ANOVA is a very general test to see if there is a difference somewhere. It doesn't tell you where the difference is, so then you need to do some more follow-up and figure out, okay, if it says there is a difference, where is the difference, right? So saying what you might do to figure out the data, or figure out that difference, okay? And so that sort of context appears in numbers 1 and 2. Number 3 is actually kind of interesting. So this is comparing ANOVA versus a 2-sample t-test. Oops, I may have spoiled it. So you can run the test both ways and see, which one is a better fit. And then number 4 is where you do everything that you need to do on your own in a 4-step method. Okay, so those are the activities for this week. I look forward to a lively discussion on Canvas. Have fun as you work through these.